Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Ashton from Lo-Fi Book Club, and today I thought we could read some reviews of my favorite author, Stephen King, but not just any reviews. I'm gonna be reading 1-star reviews. Why not just, piss myself off? Why not just, bring some negativity? I'm not going to call out anyone who actually writes these 1-star reviews. I just thought it would be funny to read them because I might even agree. I don't know. We'll see. So let's read some 1-star reviews. I'm going to pick a couple of books and we'll have a look on Goodreads in particular and read them, see what we think. Okay, listen, I'm gonna pick a couple of classics because I feel like the classic ones are like the best ones, right? Surely no one can say anything too bad about them. Yes, I actually bought a physical copy for a change. To be honest, I don't care about people not liking the books I like. It doesn't faze me if they have bad reviews to the books that I absolutely adore. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion on a book. We're not bashing people who don't feel the same way as us. It's absolutely fine. I'm just really interested to hear other people's takes on it that perhaps didn't enjoy it as much as I did. So let's read some reviews of The Shining on Goodreads. This is good. We're starting strong here. How is this book so popular? It is boring as fuck. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea for sure. Like, I completely understand. I hated this book, and I'm saying this as a person who has spent most of the year reading, listening to, and watching adaptations of Stephen King's work. I really, truly hated this book. Oh. The whole thing was just unrelenting, dull, from first to last. I know that King is an author who likes to describe every little detail of scenes, and I've grown quite fond of him using 16 sentences where one would do. But in The Shining, it grated. Paragraph upon paragraph of mundanities left me with a constant so what feeling, itching for him to get to the good stuff, which never came. I don't know if I've ever noticed that. I feel like though, when you have an author that you love, they can't do no wrong. You don't see, I don't see that he does that. I like how he describes stuff, but maybe he does describe things a bit too much, but I just don't think I've ever really noticed it. This was a complete disappointment. The characters were all boring, the writing style was one I could not get into, and the plot was vague and unexplained. I was so excited to read such a popular novel and to finally get around Stephen King, one of the greatest authors ever, apparently. This book was so boring, and it was so long. 700 pages for what exactly? One scene of action where everyone is so violently attacked. Wow, so scary. That's really good. I also like the meme that's playing. That's quite good. I think I know what she means. Like, maybe Wendy could have probably been made better. I don't know. She was better in the book than in the movie, but I really like Jack's character development in this. Anyway, that was quite good actually. I enjoyed that. That review. Okay, another banger. Misery. This is a good one. Man sure does like his words. This must be a thing that I've just not clocked onto, that he just describes stuff too much? Maybe I need to reread everything. Maybe I'd feel differently about it now that I'm aware. I don't know. This book made me miserable. Oh. I think you definitely have to read blurbs and maybe even just like investigate a little bit into books before you read them. Even with things like dark romance, for example, there are a lot of trigger warnings for those because it's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah, perhaps for horrors there should be trigger warnings, so I hope they're okay. Life is too short for books that don't feel compelling to read. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Okay, I found some other good ones. Here you go. Well named. Oh, Blaze. Save yourself the boredom and just watch the movie. I mean, the movie is really good, but there were things that I felt like the book did better. The movie was really good, so they're not wrong. They're not wrong there. DNF'd at 20%. I think Stephen King books are just not for me. His writing is overly descriptive to the point I was getting bored. I'll maybe try this again at a later date. Who knows? Oh no, is that really going to taint it when I read it? Because I feel like now I'm just going to think he's over describing stuff and it's going to annoy me. Oh no. Well, that seems to be the general consensus on the 1-star reviews anyway. What the wonderful world of Goodreads reviews 1 stars gives us for Carrie. Been a while since I've read a book very clearly written by a man. Yeah, I get that. I do get that. And I feel like when I've researched into Stephen King before, he said that Tabitha, his wife, helped him with some of this because obviously she goes through her period, other descriptions about being a young woman and things you go through. So it must be hard, I guess, for a man to write that himself, but I do believe he had help from Tabitha. It felt like a horror story about menstruation. That's all I have to say. Yeah. SJM's sex scenes scared me more than this book did. SJM is Sarah J. Maas. I'm assuming she's referring to like ACOTAR or Throne of Glass. This book was really not my cup of tea. I didn't like the writing style and the plot felt like a giant mess. Like the characters were flat and there were too many. It was very boring, maybe because I remember the movie, but still. Actually, the movie is pretty, I mean, both movies actually are really good. I think the original one with Sissy Spacek is really good. I also know that there are descriptions in here, and I know that this is a controversial topic too, about the way he describes women's bodies, especially an underaged a teenage girl's body. And I think perhaps watching the movie is better because you don't get that description and that kind of stuff isn't shown on camera, although I don't remember there being scenes about that anyway. Your books are bad. I don't know why you're popular. DNF, just so bad. Going to watch the film instead. That's fine, like that's fine. It isn't everyone's cup of tea, that's for sure. Like it really isn't. Okay, let's try it and see what people say about this. I already feel like I know what they might say because if you've not read this book, there's a very strange scene with all the kids together. I won't say any more. I knew it. Yeah, I know. DNF at around the halfway point. You know, the point where the only girl in the book had to have with all the boys to, what was it? Break the curse or whatever. I cringed so hard. I pulled a couple dozen facial expressions. Like, what the fuck, Stephen King? That was completely unnecessary. Yeah. When I more recently read this book, it was audiobook. And it's a great performance by, is it James Stephen Webber? It is a really good narration of the book, I have to say. Although it is 31 hours long, and that's at 1.2. This book was 1,100 pages, waste of my time, not scary, not interesting. This is the first book I've read by Stephen King and I wasn't thrilled. Only sheer force of will got me through this monstrous tome. It is not terrifying unless you count the hours you wasted reading it. It's a huge book. And for your first Stephen King book, that's crazy. I wouldn't have read this as my first Stephen King book. You've got to be joking. Look at it. Okay, I absolutely love the Dark Tower saga, universe, whatever you want to call it. So let's see if I can break my heart a little bit by seeing what people said about this. Oh, to be fair, this is a very short book and it just sets the stage really for the rest of the series. So I do wonder what people thought of just this one. All I could think about this book was, what the hell am I reading? This Western fantasy has to be more confused, has to be the most confusing book I've read in a long time. Some parts were more interesting than others, but overall I was very disappointed. Yeah, like what in the Western fantasy? I really did not enjoy this. Reading this book was like having a one-sided conversation with a relative who just won't shut up about something. They waffle on, they go on tangents, and you really want to get up and get a drink, make dinner, do laundry, anything except continue to listen to the madness-inducing dribble that they keep spouting. But for the sake of manners and propriety, you have to endure the endless trade, even though that you'd rather stab yourself in the face and have to listen to one more sentence. That's actually a great review. Oh my god. I don't remember it being that bad. I don't know. I just don't remember it being like that. What a struggle. Too vague in places, too patronising in others. I'm at a loss to understand the manic hysteria over this book. King's writing is as dry as his desert setting. Someone's put, I don't want to talk about it. I'm just going to block this book out. Act like it never happened. Oh no. Such a short book, but it took me ages to finish it. I'm sad to say I don't think the Dark Tower series is for me. I was quite bored the entire read. I can see why you might not want to continue with the rest of it, but honestly it's so good. I actually could do with rereading this whole entire series, but I've got way too much to read right now. Not a lot really happens in this book, if I'm honest. I think because I know what else is coming, it's fine to sit through and read, but I can see why people are like, this is fucking boring, reading this one. Picked one of the newer ones, Mr. Mercedes, I thought was really good. Mr. Mercedes. Honestly, Stephen, it's not going well. It's already not going well. After many years of not reading King, I recently read Later and Billy Summers and liked both. So I tried this one, which reminded me why I stopped reading King. Dreadful. Oh. Well, at least they liked a couple. Stinky Poo Poo. That's a good review for everybody. Listen, Stephen, I've defended you through a lot of bullshit, but even I can't defend this. Oh no. One of the worst books I've ever read, period. I'm confident this book would struggle to be published by any other author. It is strange, isn't it, when you think about your opinions and then other people's opinions. Like, then it makes me question when other people will say, you know, these characters weren't great, they weren't fleshed out. And you thought, oh my God, I thought they were really fleshed out. It does make me wonder if I'm not reading it properly sometimes. Am I not paying attention to the story enough? Note to Mr. King, please get your crap together and write something decent. I'm so disappointed in this book. After the fiasco that was Dr. Sleep, I was hoping King would make a comeback with this one. Not true, very not true, and as not true as you can possibly get. Oh, you know what? I really like Dr. Sleep as well. I thought Dr. Sleep was really good. It's interesting to see what other people think. And I know those were 1 star, so they were like not even, there wasn't a speck of like positive in them. At least if you read like a 3 star, there's like good and bad, which is quite nice. So you can kind of get an overall feel for the book. But anyway, I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna rain on my day-to-day and read some 1-star reviews. But for now, I just thought a Stephen King one would be quite fun. Since I haven't done a Stephen King dedicated video for a while, I've started to read a lot more outside of the horror genre recently. So he hasn't been my main focus, unfortunately. What a terrible fan. What a terrible #1 fan. Do you read the reviews of the books you're about to read? I don't intentionally look for 1-star reviews personally. I tend to just read like the top 1 or 2. Sometimes I don't even look at reviews. I just read the blurb and I think to myself, if I like it, it's fine. I have this with movies too, where someone's like, oh, it was really shit, like, don't go see it. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh, I actually really enjoyed it. Sometimes I don't like to read even film critic columns because they almost like see it from a different way that I would. There's certain things that they're affected by more than I am, and we're all different. Of course, we're all at our own opinions. It's not a big deal. It is good in helping us choose our next reads for sure, and maybe makes us aware of things in the book, just in case, like trigger warnings or the way something is written. So you can kind of go into it with a broader mind, which is nice. So I think it's interesting to see everyone's opinion. I love it. It's great. Have you ever left a 1-star review for something? Because I don't think I have. I don't really review stuff. If I don't like it, I just don't say anything. And if I like it, I just don't say anything. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on these. Do you hate these books too? Let me know. Anyway, thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you all next week. Bye.